All right, welcome to the revolution, guys. So we're gonna do an interview for you guys with an interesting and good candidate in a second. First, let me shout out to Kimmy D24, John Davis, who just joined by hitting the join button. We love you guys. Fat Satter gifted 10 memberships and Box gifted 1. You guys are all amazing human beings. All right, but before we get to the interview, I just wanna say, let's do something a little bit fun here. So in the revolution, we're trying to do a lot of different things. We wanna crowdsource the revolution. We want to get left wing, right wing together in some ways and see if we can get our government back, right? So we're doing that through some of the interviews. We're gonna have somebody on talk about corruption on Thursday, and I ask all the folks we interview, what's the thing you would do to get our government back? What's the number one thing you would do? But we also are gonna do campaigns from time to time. And those campaigns could be important and they could also be fun. So we're gonna try one here that's just a small one and see if it works, okay? See if we can have some fun with it. So what I'm gonna ask you to do is to ask Mike Huckabee legitimate questions about American policy and Israeli policy, and also to troll him. Okay, now the only thing you can't do is you can't threaten him with anything. Don't threaten anything at all, let alone anything physical or anything violent, because that means you're not one of us. If someone is doing that, they're an infiltrator and they're not part of the movement at all. We 100% reject anything that is physical or violent. If someone is threatening that, they're definitely not one of us. Okay, so now having said that, let's go have some fun. So here, I'm gonna give you, first of all, let me give you Huckabee's handle on X. It's at GovMikeHuckabee, GovMikeHuckabee. So I just wrote this tweet during the break, and so I'll give you that to you as an example. We don't have graphic on it because I just wrote it, but I'll read it to you and then I'll hit send. Then you could comment on my tweet, but more importantly, send your own, And if you do, we'll try to find it and show some of it on the show and try to highlight it, and I might share some of your tweets as well. So here's my post. Are you going to ask Israel to extradite Tom Alexandrovich, the Israeli official who tried to rape American girls, Governor Mike Huckabee? Are you going to ask for accountability for the 10 Americans murdered by Israeli settlers and soldiers, or do you work for Israel, not America? Post, okay? I just did that. Do it when you can, and if you can't, send it in. It's an easier way for us to track it. And Carl will try to get that to me as we keep going. And you could ask serious questions like that, or you could make fun of them. I got no problem with that at all. You could say what you really think about them, as long as it's not a threat, as long as it's not anything physical. And there's 1,000 things you could ask Ambassador Huckabee, like why did you meet with the traitor Jonathan Pollard? What tips did he give you for betraying America? Is there a transcript of the meeting? Can we hear what you two traitors talked about? Is there any justifiable reason at all to meet with a traitor like Jonathan Pollard, especially in secret? Why didn't you tell the CIA? Why didn't you tell the White House? What have you done to bring Alexandrovich back? What have you, out of the 10 Americans murdered by Israel in the last 3 years, there's not been one arrest. Are you gonna ask for arrests? Or do we serve Israel? And do you think we should serve Israel? Because in your version of the Bible, Israel's more important than America. Israel's more important than anything else. So should Americans be obedient to Israel? And do you represent our country at all? But there's a million things you could ask him and a million things you could tell him. So we hope that you take that opportunity and then share with us what you got, and I'll try to read it later in the show, including after the interview, okay? So this is our first time trying something like this. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Now, let's go to our interview. Now, joining me is Audrey Denney. She's running in California 1. That was a district that was actually a Republican district. This still is for the moment being, represented by Doug LaMalfa. But LaMalfa passed away a month ago. And so now that is kind of an open race and a really interesting one. Audrey, welcome.
Hello, it is so good to see you again. Do you remember interviewing me in 2018? I flew down to see you.
Yeah, I do. You ran against LaMalfa then, and
I did.
Yeah, and you had a fighting spirit, and I liked it, and I'm glad that you're back. So tell us how you're going to win this one.
Man, so I am running my third and fourth consecutive congressional campaigns. As you mentioned, I'm running in California's first special election, which is in the pre-Proposition 50 maps, and I'm running in the midterm election in the post-Proposition 50 maps. The post-Prop 50 maps is a D+10 district. That's the safest Democratic district that they drew. A Democrat will represent that district, and it is going to be me as the candidate who is not bought and paid for by corporate and special interests, who actually works for people. And then in the previous California's first in the special election, we're gonna win by mobilizing Democrats to help them realize that we can take a seat back in the House of Representatives in June this year, substantially before our November midterm.
So Audrey, there's change in the air, right? So you ran against them in 2020, for example, and it was 57-43. So I've seen races that were farther apart. I've seen races that were closer, right? So that's not an impossible race, but it's also a difficult one. But today, there's so many voters disenchanted with all politicians, including Republicans. So are you seeing that in your campaigning in your district at all? Is there a ray of hope here that people can say, hey, maybe we should go, not just Democrat, but someone who doesn't take corporate PAC money and someone we could trust?
Absolutely. The disenfranchisement is across the political spectrum, right? It is disenfranchisement with Trump and his authoritarian fascist regime, but it's also disenfranchisement with corporate captured Democratic establishment leaders who are bought and paid for and serve, honestly, in some cases, the same corporations that buy and pay for so many of our Republican counterparts. And people are responding across the political spectrum, independents, no party preference voters, Dems, and Republicans, to our message of not only anti-corruption, get money out of politics, but let's get a government that tangibly, actively makes your life better by providing single-payer nonprofit healthcare, by making sure that we can make a living wage, and making sure that people my age in their 40s can actually purchase houses. Like these are the kind of things that make people's lives better, and that the Democrats need to actually make tangible change towards.
So let me ask you a number of quick substantive questions. So are you in favor of attacking Iran?
Am I in favor of attacking Iran? I'm in favor of always State Department diplomatic solutions first. I don't believe that bombs are a substitute for human rights and protecting and advancing human rights. My background, besides being an educator, I've worked internationally with human rights organizations, and I believe that we have to protect international and domestic human rights laws first and foremost, and exhaust any diplomatic solutions before we pursue military action in any context.
So I just want to be absolutely sure, you don't take corporate PAC money?
Never a dime, never will. Raised $3.5 million in my first two campaigns in an R10 district with a $47 average contribution size.
All right, and do you take any foreign government money, Israeli lobby money?
Never, no APAC adjacent. Not at all.
Tom Massey said that almost everybody in Congress has an Israeli handler. If Israel comes to give you, or as he put it, a babysitter or a handler, will you reject them?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So we can move on to things that actually affect Americans instead of spending all of your time working for Israel in Congress. So is that an issue at all in California, one? Because it's so, like, there's these giant national issues, and it's so hard to tell what filters down to particular districts. And the district races get such little press that it's further, hard to discern what's actually happening there. But is the issue of our government being subservient to Israel resonating in California one?
I'll tell you this, it absolutely has come up more in this race than it did in 2018 or 2020, because people are looking for a politician that will meet this moment in history with clarity and with backbone, and someone who will say, when the United Nations Human Rights Council calls something a genocide, it's a genocide, full stop. And so it is coming up in that context. But the majority of the things that I talk about when I talk to voters is about how they can't afford fire insurance because we live in this amazing, beautiful part of the state that has been ravaged by wildfires over the past decade. They're talking about not being able to afford their healthcare premiums, right? They're talking about not being able to afford groceries. So those are the things that are coming up the most. But absolutely, we're talking about foreign affairs more this cycle than in previous.
Yep. So do you know who the Republicans going to be in the race yet, or do they have a primary? And do we know if they're taking AIPAC money?
I have a Republican I'm running against in the special election, and one that I'm running against in the midterm. The only one that has any sort of political record is Assemblymember James Gallagher is running in the special election. He's terming out of the state legislature. He's a Trump-endorsed MAGA Republican. This is his first federal race, so I'm assuming that he will take AIPAC money, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay, we don't know yet. I got you. Okay, so how about domestically? So there's the issue of affordability. There's housing prices. There's grocery prices. There's healthcare. What are the top 2 issues? Let's say that comes up in your district.
Yeah, well, I mean, the overarching issue is that combines all of those things that you talked about is the fact that our economic and political systems are centered around corporate greed and keeping corporations and the richest among us richer and in power. And so that ties into why we can't afford fire insurance, why we can't afford healthcare. And so the thing that we have to do first to make any sort of inroads on any of these issues is structural change to get money out of politics. And that starts by electing people like me who refuse to take corporate PAC money. And then it goes deeper into an anti-corruption agenda that includes things like figuring out how we can get a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United, making sure that we have a constitutional amendment to ban the president's pardon power, and making sure that we're stopping former members of Congress from becoming lobbyists so the cycle perpetuates itself. And so really, for me, at the center of this campaign, in order to actually enact an affordability agenda that we talk about, we have to make sure that Democrats aren't working for the corporations who are making money off of the backs of working people.
So, well, that's a great answer because you're a rare candidate that recognizes that you've got to get a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics. And then until you do that, you're gonna have trouble passing anything, right?
Yeah.
And so Audrey, so I love that you said that, and that gives me a lot more faith in the direction that you would go, and you seem to get it for sure, not taking the corporate PAC money, knowing the right way to tackle that issue, et cetera. Now what's gonna happen, and what our audience has been very burned by since 2018, is candidates come here and make a lot of promises. They tell us they're gonna be clean, they're gonna be progressive, et cetera. They get into Congress and then leadership tells them, be quiet and wait your turn. And they largely do. And they don't push back on $15 minimum wage, paid family leave, public option. I mean, forget Medicare for all, which we don't forget it. We want it, we demand it, we need to have it. But public option is a layup, polls it over 70%, et cetera. But every time progressives go in or populists go in and they're told to bow their heads, and almost every time they bow their heads. So Audrey, how do we know you won't bow your head?
Yeah, because I don't really want this job. I don't want to be a corporate politician. I don't want to be a career politician. I love living in Chico. I love working for food banks. I love hanging out with my 2 cats and watching birds in my backyard. The only reason that I'm running for Congress is because we are at a moment in history where every single American has to do something that they don't want to do. And they have to put themselves out there. And we need people who will stand up to Democratic leadership and say, hey, what are you gonna do? Fire me? I got elected by the American people. Cenk, I'm a 41-year-old woman. I've been told to wait my turn for decades, and I am excited to go into the Democratic halls of Congress with a bunch of octogenarians and say, hi, I'm not gonna wait my turn. Progressives, the American people is waiting for us to actually deliver. And if that means that I don't get reelected in 2 years, well then cool. I'm gonna go back to working for food banks and hanging out with my cats. Sounds like a way better life for me. Anyway, that's how you can trust me.
Yeah, no, I told you I remembered your fighting spirit.
You wanna know what's fun about being a fighter? and being a woman is that people want members of Congress who are fighters, who will stand up. But as soon as it comes from a woman, and I say this coming off of the heels of the California Democratic Convention this weekend, when women show up with fire and passion and say, I know how to fight, it's received differently than men. So I'll just leave that there and say, I am now a perimenopausal woman and not gonna temper my righteous feminine rage for anyone. So I guess there's that.
I'm gonna hook you up with the I've Had It podcast and Anna.
I don't know that, but I've had it. So
there you go. All right. First of all, I want everybody to know it's audreyforcongress.com, and when someone is running with no corporate PAC money, no foreign government lobby money, you got to help them. audreyforcongress.com, and we'll have the link down below. All right, let me ask one last serious question, then a series of fun questions for no reason other than getting to know you. So the serious one is, if you could, the one I always ask, if you could change the government to change one thing to get our government back, what would it be?
I would say money out of politics, but we've already beat that dead horse. So I would say abolish the Electoral College.
Oh, that would be amazing. Okay, that one's a very, very tough. I mean, money out of politics is already super tough. That one's even tougher, but I like that you're bold.
Okay. You said anything.
Yeah, no, I did. No, I did, and that would be amazing because it is antiquated for sure. And of course, I agree with money out of politics too. All right, so now let's ask goofy questions for fun. What's your favorite TV show these days?
Oh, geez.
That weirdly stumps everyone. It does take everybody a minute.
Like I'm a little bit embarrassed. Like I'm that girl. I'm just like really excited for the next 4 episodes of Bridgerton to drop in like 3 days. I'm just I'm a girly pop, and I'm not ashamed of it. Also, we have the same birthday, by the way, March 21st.
Oh wow, cool. That's neat. Maybe we could celebrate by watching Bridgerton from the two edges of California. Virtually, but nothing wrong with Bridgerton. My wife and I watched at least the first season. It was fun. It's fun. Okay, what's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal. Right now, I've been putting. I have ADHD, and so I eat one thing completely, and that's all I'll eat for like a month at a time, and then I'll switch to something else. But right now I'm eating Costco cheese tortellini, but I pour it in Costco tomato soup and I microwave it, and I eat that like at least twice a day right now.
I like how you stick with one thing until it's done.
Oh yeah, that's my like neurospicy brain is like, I'm gonna eat this all the time for 3 months, and then I'll never eat it again, and I'll pick something else. So
okay. And then my favorite question of all time: what extracurricular activity did you do in high school? Sports, band, anything else?
I was a proud member of the Future Farmers of America. My heifer won grand champion at the California Mid-State Fair. I won not one, but 2 carcass contests. I'll let you figure out what that means. And I was also a state FFA officer for the Future Farmers of America in 2002, which is a pretty big deal, if I do say so myself.
See, that's why I asked the question, because you're the first one to have won a heifer award.
Yeah.
I hope it wasn't a red one. Yeah, it's a different thing.
It was not that, no.
Okay.
My heifer was really pregnant at the time. I won an award with a pregnant heifer, so probably first person on your show to tell you that.
Yeah, no, I love it, and that gives you a sense of the district, and it's perfect. Last thing on that, no, you're not. Are you crazy? I'm not. You think I'm not going to ask? Yeah, what's a carcass award?
Okay, so when you show beef cattle that will be turned into meat, you show them what they say on the hoof, which is when they're alive. And then after they are harvested, they judge the quality of their meat for American consumers, and the best one wins, and I won twice.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Memorable.
Well, if you take out some lobbyists in DC, maybe we can give you, but politically, rhetorically, okay. Yeah. The political carcass award, that would be kind of awesome. Okay. All right, audreyforcongress.com, a real American that's gonna fight for you guys. You can tell from the interview. and we talked to her before. If she was in California 1, we've got a beautiful earthquake, and the American people rising up and saying we've had enough. Audrey, thanks for joining us again.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So, God, it'd be awesome if she won. That's my opinion. Okay, now, a whole bunch of you have started to do what we asked you to do with Mike Huckabee, okay? So, all right, I'm seeing already from Benjamin, I put Mike Huckabee in like a NASCAR outfit with basically, it should be Israel's flag. It's Star of David. He's got Israel's flag in the background, okay, on there prominently, right? And he's got other things in there as well. But I also love memes and GIFs. I still haven't figured out after all these years if it's GIF or GIF, but I'm down with it either way. So awesome. You kidding me? Give me more memes. Give me more GIFs. So that's great job, Ben. Navinix said in his tweet to Huckabee, could you tell your boss Bibi that we got flexible repayment options for the $300 billion that is owed to the United States? To paraphrase Miss Rihanna, Bibi better have my money. Nice job, Navinix, nice job. All right, these are great, I love this. We should do this more often, okay. Number 4, MJ says, Huckabee doesn't work for us. He's Israel's ambassador and a diplomatic nightmare for America. It's incredible how much damage he's doing to the Trump administration. Truth Revealer says 10 Americans killed by Israeli settlers, 0 trials. Israel tried raping American girls, 0 trials. That's not an Israeli, sorry, not all of Israel. Trials. Huckabee screams about Iran, silent on Israel. This is collaboration. Roses wrote in, where's the transcript from your secretive voluntary meeting with Trader Pollard, who passed USA secrets to Israel? These are beautiful questions. And Ragan writes in, it's obvious from the Tucker interview that Mike is a traitor to America. We see where his loyalties lie. That the NASCAR outfit was from someone else. Benjamin trolled saying, your head is way too small. Although I got family members with small heads. Anyways, here's another one. Let's go, let's have some fun with this, okay? Plus, wouldn't it be amazing if we did a whole bunch of posts on X and then people started going, yeah, wait a minute. Why aren't we extraditing Tom Alexandrovich? Why hasn't Huckabee done anything to extradite him? Why doesn't he represent America at all? Is that really weird? Okay, so Kelly K said, well, I always have to switch it to crap in order to be able to say it here, but crap posting Mike Huckabee was not on my bingo card for today. But now here we are, aren't we? Okay, so probably next time we'll put a hashtag on it to track it better. But this is how we learn, right? This is, oh, not that Carr didn't already suggest that to me, I just forgot. Anyways, but send them in today, send them in tomorrow. We'll try to track them. And if it's all it was just fun and it annoyed Mike Huckabee, fantastic, already mission accomplished. But if we can wind up getting to some sort of result, that would be even better. That would be fantastic. We'll let you know about that. And then if this begins to work, we can do it more and more and hopefully try to get more people to pile on. So good beginning, guys, good beginning.